Are you tired of Teferi, Time Raveler in Modern? How about Jace the Mind Sculptor and Teferi, Hero of Dominaria? Well, I've got the answer for you. It's Boil and Choke Merfolk. That's right, we're playing Boil Choke Folk here on Troll Tuesday. Boil and Choke in a Merfolk deck. That's right, we're not playing any islands, but we're going to destroy all of theirs. We've got the recipe to the new blue-white decks and Esper control decks that are terrorizing Modern. If you love Troll Tuesday, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Before we get into our deck tech, we're going to thank our sponsor, themanabase.com. And if you want to find out how to play Aristocrats in Pauper, you're going to want to learn from Ben from the Rants of Valakut, only on themanabase.com. Your home base for everything Magic the Gathering. So, yep, we're going to be playing with Boil and Choke. So, this deck was definitely suggested by my patrons, and it was obviously very inspired by Jacob Wilson, who made the original Troll Merfolk decks. I mean, he was the pioneer of Troll Merfolk. He decided, let's play with Boil in our Troll Merfolk deck, turn our opponent's lands into islands, or just to bring it in against all the decks that play islands, and they just tried to play with a lot of non-island cards. And then Magic Aids, a year later, decided, you know what, let's play Choke, because that would be pretty awesome. We're going to be a blue-green Merfolk deck that runs Choke in the sideboard. Why not? Because we can play with a bunch of non-island cards. So, anyway, it was a blue-green Merfolk deck with Choke. But let's play with both. You know what? One of each. You can only play 4 copies of Choke. You can only play 4 copies of Boil. Let's bring them all in. Let's bring all 8 so that we make sure that those blue decks, they get punished. They're not going to get a free ride in Modern. We got to bring the medicine for them. So how on earth do we play both Choke and Boil in a Merfolk deck? Well, we're going to need a lot of non-basic lands. We're going to play with Botanical Sanctum, Copperline Gorge, Shivan Reef, Spire Bluff Canal, and Yavimaya Coast. We got 2 islands just in case our opponents play Ghost Quarter, Path to Exile, or Field of Ruin, because, oh man, it really sucks when your opponent plays Path to Exile and you don't search up a basic, and then all of a sudden they realize, oh, you have no basics in your deck, and they just start strip mining you with Field of Ruin or Ghost Quarters. Oh, it's awful. So we got a little bit of something for the decks that are going to be playing with playing cards that will bring out those lands. But we don't have enough colored sources. We only have 4 green sources, or we have total 10 green sources, 10 red sources. It's really close. That's why we got Tideshaper Mystic as some mana fixing. Target land becomes the basic land type of your choice until end of turn. Activate this ability only during your turn. And we can also use it to activate on our opponent's lands if we really want to. In some cases, we can use Tideshaper Mystic to blow up. Well, there will be some matchups where we might want to keep Tideshaper Mystic, and we're going to be bringing in Boil and Choke. But the point is, you could turn their land into an island and then boil them. That's awesome. And then other than that, it's just a normal aggro Merfolk deck. We got Benthic Biomancer, we got Harbinger. I do want to have some Harbingers in the deck, so if our opponent plays any creatures that we can't really deal with that get underneath the Boil and the Choke, at least we can bounce back to the hand and then boil and choke them out first, then bounce the creatures back to hand, and that will work out quite nicely. And then just some counterspells in the sideboard. I don't know if we're going to need them, but whatever. So we're going to actually look at a replay. I already recorded this, and the audio was so garbage that I have to redo it. But we're here with my brother now, so we get to see this colorful commentary. So. And if it was a bad league, I would have scrapped it all. So if we're looking at the replay, the goods are on the way. So let's get into our replay. All right, so I lost the die roll, but the hand is great. And what's great? Our opponent has an island. We're seeing the Hollow Fountain here. This is exactly what we want to be playing against. The Hollow Fountain decks. They're falling right into our trap. So we've got a very good curve. A lot of 1-drops, a lot of lords, and we have a lot of potential to just dump our hand on the board and kill our opponent if they tap out with a Jace or a Teferi. Because usually that's what's going to happen by turn 4, and they want to put a Terminus on top of their deck. So I took my Vial up to 1. We play our Botanical Sanctum. And I don't want to play any of our Lords here. With my opponent having 2 mana up, there's too high of a chance of them having like Mana Leak or Logic Knot, in addition to Spell Snare. And I can still use the mana with Benthic Biomancer, just Vial something in and then loot with the Benthic Biomancer. We see Watery Grave here, so this is the Esper control deck. They're playing with Esper Charm, which can make them draw 2 cards or make their opponent discard 2 cards, and as a third mode that is escaping me right now. So our opponent, Field of Ruins, our Botanical Sanctum. They're scared of the green. I wonder what do they think when they see green. I mean, I guess they're thinking like Collected Company, I guess. I mean, there are some blue-green Merfolk decks out there.
No, they're thinking of Fog.
So I decide to dump the Benthic Biomancer. You could dump the Botanical Sanctum. I really wanted, though, to play a Mare-Regery with the 3. Because I want to tick the Vial up to 2 and not any higher. But you could definitely make the argument, dump the Botanical Sanctum, just play a Lord off of 2 mana, and then tick the Vial up to 3. Take that chance. Just have a really high threat dense hand. My opponent plays Serum Visions. We tick up. We play our Mare-Regery. Also make sure, you got to be careful with your lands. Botanical Sanctum comes into play tapped if it's the 4th land. So want to get it in as the 3rd land. Shivan Reef comes into play untapped no matter what. Attack for 3. And I don't want to put another Lord on the battlefield right now. A lot of people say, Nikachu, why don't you put another Lord and you could get another damage in play? Yeah, but if they untap and they play Terminus or Supreme Verdict, then I lost, for that 1 extra damage, I lost an extra creature. So I'd much rather play my creatures at end of turn. Opponent fetches for planes, and oh, it's Jace the Mind Sculptor. And usually when they're tapping out like this, they're planning to put Terminus on top of their deck. So they're brainstorming at 0, drawing 3 cards, putting 2 cards back on top. But here's the thing. Okay, it appears that I could play a Lord of Atlantis at end of turn, and then put 2 more Lords in play, and Benthic Biomaster will attack for 6, Mare-Regery will attack for 5, Lord of Atlantis will attack for 5, attacking for 16 damage. What do? I don't attack at all, because I'm playing around. Instead of winning the game by playing around all my opponent's cards, winning the game, I'm just playing around Terminus. I don't add more stuff to the board, which is really silly. So when you have an opportunity, you win the game. Win the game, people. So what I end up doing is I attack the Jace the Mind Sculptor with the Benthic Biomancer for 3 damage, and I attack them for 2. Still progressing my board, but like not in the right way. Oh, Chubby Meatball's here.
Chubby Meatball.
Chubby Meatball, you're famous. People love Chubby Meatball.
There she is.
Look at the camera, Chubby Meatball. Woo! People say you're gorgeous. Here you go. Okay, back to the game. Our opponent fetched for a plains. Or sorry, they fetched for an island. And they cast Teferi. Which makes me happy because the only... it looks like our board is not going to get wiped. They'll draw a card, untap 2 lands. But I'm okay with this because we can... I mean, unless they opt into Terminus, we have a good opportunity to win the game here. So I decide to... I'm just gonna dump my hand onto the battlefield, and all we have to do is fade. We can beat 1 removal spell because we can put 10 power in play. Oh no, we can't. But we're gonna draw a Lord, and now we can put 10 power in play, no matter what our opponent does. They need 2 removal spells in order to play around this. But they don't. They just have either... Well, it appears that they have none because they just concede. So that was game 1. We're just beating... And by the way, this is Esper control with the Watery Grave. Not Blue Eye control. Esper is on the rise. It's... I don't know, Esper Charm is a big deal right now in Modern for whatever reason. So, you know, just keep that in mind. Esper is on your radar. But anyway, that was game 1. Let's get to game 2. Okay, taking a look at the sideboard, I sided out the Tide Shaper Mystics and Harbinger of the Tides for chokes and boils. You better believe it. Harbinger is just a really big clunky card, not very necessary, mostly just a grizzly bear. We want the chokes and boils. And I guess I sided out... Oh, and I sided out 2 Spreading Seas for 2 Deprive. So we've got... Well, we don't have choke and boil in our hand, but we do have a keepable hand. Gotta love Ether Vial.
There when you need it.
Well, not against humans. And unfortunately, our opponent, they already know what's up. Somehow, I guess they've studied the games of Magic Aids and Jacob Wilson. And they're fetching out the Godless Shrine, which is very disappointing because that is not going to get hit by our choke or boil. That is a plains and a swamp. And boom! Like even playing around our strategy even more. Glacial Fortress. This is very disappointing. Now if we draw these cards, they're not even effective. Got another Spire Bluff Canal. Again, I don't really want to... Well, yeah, I can't get Logic Knotted here, but I can get Mana Leaked. I should be more familiar with the Esper list, but I'm sure they're still running some number of counterspells. I could go for a Spreading Seas, but... You know what? I know you should side out some number of counters, but I still see so many counterspells played against Merfolk that I don't want to run my spells into counter magic. So I'm going to be more patient. And, yeah, just going to be patient, keep passing back and forth. Plan to put a Silvergill Adept in play. Esper Charm, draw 2 cards, go for it. They could have made us discard cards. They didn't. Alright, so here's time to deploy creatures, usually the Silvergill Adept. So when would I play a Trickster? I would play a Trickster when they tap out to play Jace the Mind Sculptor or Teferi, Hero of Dominaria. I don't know if anyone can hear it, but Chubby Meatball is causing trouble.
Oh, I'm sure they heard it.
The things on the table, they're not allowed to stay there. You gotta be very careful what you put on the table because it's gonna hit the ground. So we draw Botanical Sanctum. I attack for 2. Play land, pass. Cryptic Command. Return target permanent to its owner's hand. That is annoying. I'll admit, that's annoying. But the good thing is that we've got tons of Merfolk Tricksters in hand, so that's good. So we can still play things at instant speed. And I put a Lord in play, I believe. Also, another thing, just in case our opponent is playing Detention Sphere, you want to diversify your... How can I put it? If I play Master of the Pearl Trident, and they, I don't know, wipe the board with Terminus, for example, then I'm left with 2 Lord of Atlantises in my hand, and then as the game progresses, if I put 2 Lord of Atlantises in play, then I'm weak to Detention Sphere, cards like that. So I want to leave vulnerable. I want to have, I want as much diversity in my hand so that I'm not vulnerable to Detention Sphere. So that if they get rid of the Lord of Atlantis, okay, that's fine. I'm never going to be weak to something like Detention Sphere in the future. So they Fatal Push the Lord, that's exactly as planned, no problem. And now I think I start deploying things like Merfolk Trickster. No counterspell. Okay, that's good. Attack for 4. Here comes Snapcaster Mage. So this has been unfortunate. I decided to try to keep one of my creatures on the battlefield by tapping down the Snapcaster Mage. So they're going for the Fatal Push and the block. I'm not going to let them have the block. And Fatal Push does resolve. And I get to play the Ether Vial. The position's not too bad, so there's a lot of situations where we can still attack with these Merfolk Tricksters for a lot of damage. Like if our opponent plays Teferi, we can kill the Teferi. And here's Jace the Mind Sculptor. Taking up, which still not that bad. We can still kill the Jace the Mind Sculptor with the Merfolk Tricksters, but we sort of need a land. We need an island so that we can play 2 Lords, 2 Island Walk Lords, and that even if they have Path to Exile or Fatal Push, it won't be enough to stop the Merfolk Tricksters. We don't get it, but we're still going to play a Lord anyway and try to kill the Jace. Plan fails miserably. But we do get an island out of the deal. Our opponent's down to 4 cards. Jace does lose some loyalty anyway, and our hand is still full of gas. So, you know, it's not the end of the world.
Jace is loyal to no one.
Yeah, apparently. Thoughtseize. So our opponent's playing Thoughtseize. Once I realized that they are playing Thoughtseize, I think it's very reasonable to take the draw against Esper Control. Like, they're playing Esper Charm, which can make us discard 2 cards, and also it destroys target enchantments, so they can destroy our Spreading Seas. And yeah, Thoughtseize, Esper Charm, maybe it's reasonable to take the draw in this matchup. I would have to play test it more. Tempo does matter, but it looks like it's really attrition based. Oh! We got our Boil, but the problem is they've got a bunch of this is not an island, this is not an island, this is not an island, this is not an island. We don't know what this is going to be yet.
Land type reveal party.
Yeah.
It's an island!
Opponent fail pushes the Trickster, and I believe... I don't know what I do here. I think I try to play Spreading Seas now. Because, like, I don't want to play the Lord, because I can just cast it off of Aether Vial.
Alright.
Now it looks like they're going for Cryptic Command again. No, you may not. Return target permanent. They still hate that Aether Vial. That vile Aether Vial. They path on our turn. They Fatal Push? How did they kill the other? Oh, no, they returned it with Jace the Mind Sculptor. So that's a little bit encouraging. It sort of says that they don't have anything else to do with their hand. And I got Deprived. That's pretty good.
Well done.
In retrospect, I don't like this line. I think I would much rather play Aether Vial, Lord of Atlantis, and hold up Deprive for the future. I think that would be a much better line. And we're threatening to kill the Jace. And if Jace wants to Brainstorm, that's fine. And we have Deprive up. It looks like... Or am I just playing... No, I'm just tapping out. So I'm tapping out, which is, like, okay, but it's not a safe line. If our opponent goes desperate, like, Brainstorms, they could end up finding, like, a really good hand. And now our opponent just strip mined our Botanical Sanctum with the Field of Ruin. So in retrospect, I think because I have the Deprive in hand, I should be playing more conservative. Detention Sphere. That's going to wipe out one of our cards. And that's why you diversify the cards in your hand, so you don't get screwed. Target player discards 2 cards. Oh, that sucks. They got rid of our Boil. So now the jig is up. Now they know what we're doing. The plan is revealed. Okay. Oh, we got the choke, but they strip mined our
Green sources.
Our green source. They know what they're doing. Look at these drowned catacombs. They have so many non-islands. Look at this. Non-island, non-island, non-island. Okay, so the board's not too bad. They got 1 unknown card in hand. Probably not removal. Oh, great. It's a fairy. That's exactly what I wanted to see. So now I need, like, a Lord next turn, and I have to hope my opponent's next few top decks are, like, real garbage. This is not too bad, but this is not great. Alright, so we attack the fairy for 2. Jace, the Mind Sculptor. Get out of here. No, they they dispel my Deprive. And now this game's like super over. I don't know how much longer I play, but this is pretty hopeless. Snapcaster Mage, Path, or no, Fatal Push. All my hopes and dreams.
Gone.
Yeah. Just when I thought I had a chance, both Teferi and Jace hit the board. This is just going to be like super powerful Planeswalker City. So I get my Copperline Gorge. I don't know why. I think I'm just going to try to play Choke for the sake of playing Choke. But I might not. You know, you can't reveal this stuff. Timely Reinforcements, doesn't gain any creatures. Okay, we're sending a message. We're sending the message. This is on the way. Be fearful. Be fearful. And in some ways it is working.
Yeah, some of his lands aren't.
A bunch of those lands. Why did the planes not untap? Oh, they were just casting the Detention Sphere to take our Choke away. They won't let us have any fun. Alright, so anyway, that was game 2 of this. We go on to game 3. So we start with a no lander. That's useless. We have 1 lander. And I believe I keep this. I don't want to go down to 5. And, 3 Benthic Biomancers. It's okay.
Ooh.
What?
Where's the London Mulligan?
That was only temporary. Now they're going to analyze. Should the London Mulligan stay or leave? And I think it's going to come back.
Did Dredge rise to the top?
No, it did not. Are you familiar with the new Neoform deck? The deck that wins on turn 1?
You played up against something like it last time.
Oh yeah, okay, so you were there. So Thoughtseize, I'm sort of happy. It's hilarious. We're not even close to casting this Boil, but they know this is dangerous. They're not even gonna BS around with it. Aether Vial is like actually one of the better top decks we can get for our second land drop, or for our second turn. So now we can cast or we can put the Benthic Biomasters in play at instant speed. Our opponent is just being very aggressive, kill our creatures with Fatal Push. Yavimaya Coast is good. I Violent Benthic Biomaster now. I don't know why I would do this. It's not that big of a deal. Well, I mean, it actually is a deal. Why did I do this? There is some reason for it. There might have been a reason for it. Maybe there wasn't. This leaves me vulnerable to Timely Reinforcements. Our opponent could play Timely Reinforcements and get 3 tokens. Whatever, I played it. And now we're going to play... I guess I'm going to play Merfolk Trickster. Oh yeah, I want to I don't want to use the adaptability just yet. I want to wait until I draw a land and I'm able to loot the adaptability away. And I think I remember I made a mistake by taking my Aether Vial up here. I should leave it on 1 because the only cards in my hand that I can put into play cost 1. And I think I'm going to play Spreading Seas here. Yeah, we're just going to let that resolve. I get cards anyway. Attack for 2. And see that Aether Vial, if it was at 1, I could put the Benthic Biomancer in play. So Godless Shrine, Glacial Fortress, they're undermining the Choke Boil strategy. So let's see if we can get a Spreading Seas on that Godless Shrine. Oh yeah. Okay, the number of islands are going up.
Did you have to pay life to tap one of those?
Yes, these are pain lands. If you want to tap it for the colored mana, you have to take take 1 damage.
Or whatever. Pay life.
It's not the same thing. It's not the same thing. So you see these little things make a big difference. So I could be attacking for 4 damage next turn if my Aether Vial was properly at 1. I could probably kill this Jace. Oh, I can't kill the Jace the Mind Sculptor because they just they're looking at the top card of my library. I forget what they do with it. So now I can only at most attack for... Yeah, I would kill this stupid Jace this turn if I could put the Benthic Biomancer in play. And I can't get Benthic Biomancer in play this turn because Spire Bluff Canal will come into play tapped. And I don't even want to put the Canal in play because I want to use it to loot away, to get value out of the Benthic Biomancer. Supreme Verdict. Well, that's just great. I'm being sarcastic.
Hits precisely 1 card. What a waste. No, hit 2 actually.
Alright, so we can play our Biomancer. We can loot. We're going to do it now before our opponent can threaten to play Path to Exile or Fatal Push, which would ruin our loot. So, but our opponent now is just gaining way too many cards with this Jace. We did have an opportunity. Like, if we put the Biomancer in play at end of turn, if the Aether Vial was at 1, we would have cast Mara Regery, killed the Jace, and then they play Supreme Verdict, and that's okay. A 3 for 2 is okay, because that's what they did. They didn't get any card advantage out of Jace. They just looked at the top of our library. So that would have been fine. But now that it's been a 2 for 1 with the Supreme Verdict, and the Jace is now accumulating value each turn, that's a problem. Our opponent has like 4 cards in hand and an active Jace on the battlefield. Now our opponent is just going... They're excited. Oh, they're so excited.
Jeez.
They couldn't play those Path to Exiles faster. And of course, I have nothing on an empty board with a Jace the Mind Sculptor, and I just scoop it up. I've had enough of this. So, it's disappointing. We've got the Boils and the Chokes, and we're like sorta up against the deck that we want. We only had one. We never had an opportunity to play this Boil, but they've got a bunch of these non-island cards, like Godless Shrine and Glacial Fortress. Plains. What are you doing? What are you doing?
I gotta cast that Boros Charm.
Gotta cast that Boros Charm. They're lacking red. And the Boros Charm.
Oh,
do you know what you have?
Esper Charm.
Esper Charm. Yeah. Boros Charm is from Burn.
Yeah, I know.
Whatever. Okay, so unfortunately match 1 isn't the way we wanted it to be, but we're gonna make up for it in match 2. So we won the die roll, and the hand is, has a great curve. We've got...
They mulligan to 5.
Yeah, great. They mulligan to 5. We get to keep 7, and we have a turn 4 kill in our hand. So we just Biomancer, Lord. Hopefully our opponent cannot interact with us, and it's going to be easy peasy win. So our opponent plays Marsh Flats. So basically I think we're just up against Abzan. So let's flood the board. And again... I've got multiples of the Master of the Pearl Trident, so I want those to be the lords that are vulnerable to removal spells. Because Abzan plays Maelstrom Pulse, or it could be Rock. It could be a Rock deck. But they play Maelstrom Pulse, so I want to have as diversified of creatures in my hand as possible. Want the cards in my hand as diversified as possible, so that later on in the game... the creatures on the battlefield are as diversified as possible. My opponent finds Hollowed Fountain from Marshflat, so are we up against Esper Control? Arid Mesa, well now I'm just outright confused. Arid Mesa looks for a Plains. Oh, well look at that. SRAM, Senior Edificer. So this is Cheerios. So Cheerios... Okay, so if you want to know how this works, so SRAM is a 2/2 legendary creature that says whenever you cast an aura, equipment, or vehicle spell, you draw a card. So what this deck does is it plays a bunch of 0 mana equipment cards, and also plays a Pure Steel Paladin, which is a very similar effect as SRAM, except that whenever an equipment enters the battlefield, you draw a card. So they've got 8 of these creatures where you're going to draw a card whenever you play equipment. And it's called Cheerios because of the deck. It's all zeros, that's right. So the idea is to play as many equipment as possible. They're going to draw a card for each equipment they play. Draw a card, draw a card, draw a card, draw a card. Then they're going to play, I think it's called Retract for 1 blue. I think it's an instant. Return all artifacts target player can... maybe it's return all artifacts you control to your hand. And then so for that 1 blue, 1 card, they bring back all the equipment and they can replay all their equipment, draw a bunch of cards again. By the way, this is a Storm deck basically because they keep getting Storm and eventually they're going to Grape Shot us for victory. They're going to draw their deck and they've got Mox Opal. This is another reason to ban Mox Opal.
Single counterspell and that was the whole thing though.
Only on this. Grape Shot, you can only... When they Grape Shot you, they get the Storm trigger, and so they get a billion Storm, and you can only counter one.
Well, wouldn't the new target or counter-activated ability card work against that?
No, just this. The triggered ability. You can counter the fact that they're going to draw a card. So anyway, alright, so they let us untap. Great. Alright, let's see if we can... We're in good shape. Like, we're in good shape. If they somehow fizzle, and they can, we've got our turn 4 kill. I mean, this is the perfect hand that we could possibly want against Cheerios. Now I feel like our chances of them fizzling are terrible. They got Pure Steel Paladin now. And they got an equipment, so that means they're going to draw a card for each equipment that they play. SRAM is at cast. Pure Steel Paladin is at when it enters the battlefield. Just keep that in mind. Alright, so they draw 2 cards, and then if they... Yeah, so they play another equipment, draw 2 cards, another equipment, draw 2 cards. So they're basically going off, because they're drawing 2 cards for each equipment that they draw. Now they got the Mox Opal, and then now they've played Retract, 1 blue, instant, return all artifacts you control to their owner's hands. So they just they put all their equipment back to hand, and now they're just recasting all this stuff.
Storm Count Rising.
Storm Count Rising, yeah. Storm Count over here. 13.
Life total over there.
Yeah. Life total over here. So they just replay this. They're drawing their entire deck, and they're just waiting for a grape shot, and they'll play like They'll like play 2 Mox Opals. They'll float red mana from one, play another Mox Opal. It's usually how it is. And there's the grape shot. Beautiful.
Good job. You did it.
You did it. Oh, what's that meme? You didn't, like, it's something to the effect like, you didn't win the game, you cheated.
Oh yeah.
Your victory is hollow. I mean, they didn't technically cheat, but I mean, this is bullshit. This is one of the most ultimate bullshit decks in Modern. That's for sure. You know what? I would be more fine with this deck if it didn't win via Grape Shot, if it just won somehow through the equipment cards. I think this is such a cheesy way to win the game in the end. This is ultimate cheese.
It's not easy being cheesy.
They should just ban this card. This is dumb. And it encourages this bullshit. But I would be all for it if they could just make a big creature somehow, reverse the power and toughness, give it haste and trample. I'd be fine with that. But Grape Shot, people, I don't know about that. You find it?
No, I'm not even looking for it.
Oh, you're not? Well, I thought you were looking for it. All right, let's move on to game 2. I would love to go first against this Cheerios deck. Oh. The chat is gone forever.
As it should be.
So, okay, the hand is not that good, by the way, but I'm keeping it because of Merfolk Trickster. We can play Silvergill Adept on one turn. They're going to play Saram or Pure Steel Paladin, draw a few cards, but then on their upkeep, we can start playing Merfolk Tricksters turn after turn. So the hand does have some potential, but the hand is not that great. I'm just keeping it for the Merfolk Trickster-ness of it. I forget what I revealed. Probably Merfolk Trickster, because that's definitely what I'm playing. And the Lord is good, because that can help us get in the final points of damage that we need. So they can't keep a hand without Pure Steel Paladin or SRAM, so they do got the Pure Steel Paladin. And, yeah, so I'm going to be on the Merfolk Trickster plan. I'm going to attack into the Pure Steel Paladin. They don't want to trade. They're never going to do that.
They need that thing.
They do need that thing. And we're going to play our... So we're going to play Merfolk Trickster. So okay, this is important. If this was SRAM, I would Merfolk Trickster at their upkeep, because SRAM draws a card upon casting an equipment, but Pure Steel Paladin is drawing a card when the equipment enters the battlefield. So what I can do is let our opponent waste a turn playing an equipment card. Oh no! Not SRAM. That sucks. So now I can still wait for them to play the equipment card. because I can't deal with SRAM. And I'm going to forever target the Pure Steel Paladin. Our opponent can always have more Pure Steel Paladins, but our opponent cannot have more SRAMs.
Legendary.
This creature, yes, this creature is legendary. I like this. It looks like he's playing on an exquisite chess set, in my opinion. This is a careful game of chess. Cheerio. I don't know if a Cheerios player would ever say that, but yeah, but whatever. So you want to target the Pure Steel Paladin, because if you target the SRAM, then they'll just play the other. If they have another SRAM in their hand, they'll just play the other SRAM, because they can get rid of this SRAM. It costs them nothing to just exchange that SRAM for a turn for another SRAM.
SRAM wrap.
SRAM Rapture. So they get one. So they got a card from casting it, but they didn't get a card for the equipment entering the battlefield. And now here we go. We can start playing Lord. And we actually have a kill next turn. They have to win next turn. Because I can play Yavimaya Coast and Shivan Reef to Merfolk Trickster, the Pure Steel Paladin again. Oh yeah, I forgot. There actually was another line. I could play Harbinger of the Tides, bounce the Pure Steel Paladin, and I guess Trickster it again, like making them use up their mana. Oh, this sucks. So they Path to Exile. That slows my clock down significantly. So now we do not have anything close to lethal next turn, unless I draw a Lord. Alright, so they play Paradise Mantle. I make sure I get in there with that Merfolk Trickster. Tap down the Pure Steel Paladin again. I just hope my opponent cannot go off. They play Retract, so they get to play a few more of these cards. They play another SRAM, but they're about to learn that this creature is legendary and it did not add anything.
Maybe they actually said something about it.
Maybe. Oops.
So you didn't know. You literally didn't know.
Well, you know now. Hey, when you start playing a deck, you don't know. I don't know how many times I've done such stupid things when I've played a deck for the first time. You got to get that all out of your system. You got to get it out of your system. And we draw the Lord! Oh, we draw the Lord. That's lethal. Unless they have another Path to Exile. Please don't have another Path to Exile. And they don't have another Path to Exile. We got game 2. Which is like, I don't know. Against Cheerios, it feels pretty lucky. But here's the problem. We're now going to be on the draw against Cheerios in game 3. Yeah, okay, so let's go on to game 3. Let's talk about the sideboard. We didn't bring in Choke and Boil because that's going to be way too slow. I brought in all the counter spells, and I even brought in Ceremonious Rejection, because even if you can counter one equipment card, or even more importantly, Mox Opal, that can help. It's just going to be one less card that they can retract back to their hand. Like, I just don't have that much interaction. The best interaction against Cheerios, let's talk Cheerios strategy, is going to be Dismember. Like, you have to permanently kill SRAM or Pure Steel Paladin. Like, their deck is so vulnerable. If that creature dies, the whole strategy dies. The deck doesn't do anything. So Dismember, very high on your list. Another card I think is also quite playable is Relic of Progenitors. You see, they don't have a million copies of Retract in their deck. What they also use is the green Phyrexian mana spell to put a card from your graveyard back on top of your library. So they also, I don't remember what that's called though. Do you know? You might not know.
Probably not.
Noxious Revival, I believe it is. Noxious Revival. So it puts a card from the graveyard. It's a Phyrexian mana green spell. It puts a card from the graveyard back on top of the library, and you can counter that with Relic of Progenitors. So I actually think Relic of Progenitors is a playable card, a very important card in this matchup to stop the chain of
BS.
Yeah, to stop the chain of BS. That's right. So yeah, this was the sideboard strategy. We're on the draw, and I guess I kept this, or I guess I didn't keep it. It had no way to win the game. I can't go back, but it's just one Lord, 2 counter spells. We're not going to be able to play Deprive on the Pure Steel Paladin, because, or SRAM, because they're going to get to 2 mana before we do. And we ideally just want a clock, something that can possibly win the game. Our opponent did mulligan down to 5. Okay, so this hand's fine. We need a double blue to really make it worthwhile. And I believe I put the Benthic Biomancer on the bottom because I really want to dig for the second blue source. Opponent plays Hollow Fountain Pass. We do gotta Deprive. Deprive isn't useless later on in the game because you can deprive the Retract. We got our double blue source. All right, we're on the board, and our opponent missed their second land drop. We have a chance now. We can deprive SRAM or Pure Steel Paladin. So the plan now is to get Trickster on the battlefield. I don't know what's better. Hold up Deprive and potentially play Merfolk Trickster, or maybe we should, knowing our opponent missed their land drop, we could have played Master of the Pearl Trident right now and get in damage, and then when we play, then we can hold up this thing. We could just hold up one more turn. Anyway, I went for the strategy of let's hold it all up right now, play Merfolk Trickster at end of turn.
Okay.
Chubby Meatball loves fighting squirrels. She's bad at it, though. Alright. Oh, our opponent plays Path to Exile. Okay, we can use the mana. We can use the mana so that we can eventually play Master of the Pearl Trident and Deprive on the same turn. Holding up Deprive. Because, like, if we counter that one SRAM or Pure Steel Paladin, like, the rest of the deck doesn't do anything. So now we're going to adapt Benthic Biomancer. I believe I get rid of Copperline Gorge because this is largely useless. Our hand is just all blue mana.
Pop for 2.
Pop for 2. Play Tideshaper Mystic. Still hold up the Deprive. If I didn't have this Tideshaper Mystic, I'd very likely just play a Lord and then just try to put a clock on the board. But I'm trying to make as much use of this Deprive, and our opponent keeps missing that second land drop.
That's nuts.
Yeah, my coast. Excellent. Let's start playing Lords. Let's get that clock going. Attack. Another Path to Exile. Okay. We have no more islands. Islands offline. That's everything. Opponent passes again. Get another Yavimaya Coast. What's the best thing here? Because I can now hold up Harbinger of the Tides and hold up Deprive at the same time. Oh no, but I can also play the Master of the Pearl Trident, attack for 5, and still play Harbinger at end of turn if they do nothing. Another Path to Exile.
That's 3.
Yeah, that is 3. That is 3. So they probably kept their hand because it was just millions of Path to Exiles. And now because... Well, I can just play the Harbinger of the Tides right now and we have a 2-turn clock from here. Alright. Oh! They got their land. It's about to get exciting. Pure Steel Paladin, alright. Deprive. I gotta be a little careful with my life total because, I mean, it's not out of the question. It's not out of the question that, I don't know, they just play a bunch of equipment cards and grape shot me. Right? Like, my life total is pretty low. Okay, Mara Rejury. That does not put lethal on the board. It just puts it close. But the problem is, it's not like their deck requires playing a Hollowed Fountain untapped or anything like that.
No, easy though.
But that's it. They had nothing else. Maybe that was the only Pure Steel Paladin in their hand, and our strategy worked. We just countered it. But the deck is very... The reason that none of this deck got banned when the deck came out, because it can win on turn, it can win on turn 2, but it very reliably wins on turn 3. But if you just interact with that one damn creature, the deck does nothing. So, anyway, good game to our opponent. And to us as well. So that was match 2. Not the Boyle choke matchup we wanted, but we're going to look forward to rounds 3, 4, and 5. Okay, we won the die roll. But, like, this hand's useless. We have to mulligan. It's 6 mana sources and a Benthic Biomancer. This hand's playable. Doesn't have any beef, but, whatever. Got a Mara Rejury on top. We're going to keep that. Need some beef. Botanical Sanctum into probably Benthic Biomancer. Yeah. This way, if our opponent plays like a 1/2 creature on turn 1, like a Thraben Inspector, at least we can attack into it.
Naming what?
Human. We're up against humans. Oh, there's Ether Vial. Oh, that can't be good news. Our opponent, also, when we're on the play, this Harbinger doesn't look as good.
Could Tideshaper Mystic turn that cavern into an island?
Yep. I can't remember what I do here. Adapting and playing Tideshaper Mystic and Spreading Seas, they're all close. They're all close. Okay, I go for Spreading Seas. I'm going to draw lands, get into the Mare Regery, and eventually, if we draw Alert of Atlantis, we still want the Spreading Seas. Alright, so we got our Shivan Reef for next turn. We can play Mare Regery and attack with our Benthic Biomancer. So, like, humans is really deadly with Ether Vial. I mean, they can do so much shenanigans with it. However, if they have only one land in play, usually they are slow enough that you can still get an advantage. But now with Ether Vial and multiple lands in play, oh man, it's deadly. It's so deadly. Champion of the Parish, usually into Thalia's Lieutenant. Oh no, it's Phantasmal Image. So I'm pretty happy to see Phantasmal Image being used like this, because Mare Regery is going to shoot it down in the future with our tap triggers. And we just drew an Ether Vial, but I do believe I'm not going to play this Ether Vial. We really need to get cards on the battlefield, and I have an opportunity to attack for 2 because our opponent's not going to block with any of their creatures. So I can also set up next turn Harbinger of the Tides. Mare Regery trigger will destroy this, and if they attack with the Champion of the Parish, we can bounce it. Or even if they don't attack with it, we can force it to tap with the Tideshaper Mystic. We have 3 sources of mana in play, and we can use these creatures. And we can also cycle, and I also plan on cycling away the Ether Vial with the Benthic Biomancer somewhere in the future. Our opponent is fiddling with their lands. Whenever they add red mana, it always means Mantis Rider.
Ooh.
Cannot be countered. Champions get bigger. Interesting, they don't attack with this champion. In retrospect, that's gotta be a big mistake. Because of this Mare Regery on the board, like, you're gonna die. You're just gonna die. So you might as well either exchange with this Mare Regery, you know, get a card, or get in some damage. There's no point holding it back. Well, anyway, I'm gonna take 6 damage. Yeah, I didn't even recognize that at the time when I played this game. You can't hold this Champion of the Parish back. There's no point to that. So our opponent is gonna flash something in. That's also, so this is also looks like a misplay. So you could attack for like a lot more with both your champions. Like, there's no point doing this at upkeep. I was tapped out, so you could do this on your turn, and they name Merfolk Trickster. Okay, that's fine, but everything that I cast is going to trigger a tap. So I think they should attack with everything. They could play Meddling Mage, name Merfolk Trickster, get in an extra 2 damage, and I would be down to 12. Because doing this at my upkeep, or doing it at their main phase, is basically the same.
Fool.
Alright, so I drew more Ether Vials. Ether Vial is what you want on turn 1, not on turn 4. We're not as lucky as our opponent to have Ether Vial on turn 1. So we get the Tideshaper Mystic, blow up that stupid thing. And I play Harbinger of the Tides. I believe I tap down the Mantis Rider, and I bounce the Champion of the Parish. So I'm sort of working something back, you know? They're down to 1 card. Hopefully it's nothing.
So Merfolk can tempo you out.
I can't remember. Do I attack with both? No, I just attack with one. I chicken out. Mare Regery is pretty powerful. It's important. It's our only lord on the battlefield. We are, unfortunately, we are not close to lethal with a lord. Opponent fiddles with their cards a little bit. Phantasmal Image, copy Mantis Rider. Unfortunately, we don't have any creatures in our hand, so this is going to be a lethal attack really quickly. We're going to go down to 7. We do have a few turns, though, you know. So we've got... Oh, we're actually in not bad shape. We just can't use this Shivan Reef for mana, because the 6... So it's a 2-turn clock from here. Spreading Seas, which I believe I Do I? Yeah, I am. Am I playing the Spreading Seas or am I activating Benthic Biomancer? Because activating Benthic Biomancer can deal damage this turn. And I don't... And I still draw a card anyway. I might have made a mistake. Oh, okay, so what did I do? I play Spreading Seas. I should activate Benthic Biomancer instead. And then attack with Benthic Biomancer and Harbinger of the Tides, put my opponent down to 9, and then I'm guaranteed to kill my opponent if I can draw Lord of Atlantis. Whereas with playing Spreading Seas, I'm still drawing a card, but it doesn't make my Benthic Biomancer bigger. The little things that I'm seeing later. Well, I guess... Yeah. Oh, I guess I'm still gonna... Well, then why don't I attack with the Benthic Biomancer? Oh, actually... Oh, no. I can't attack with the Benthic Biomancer, because if I do, then my opponent can attack back with everything, and I have to chump block Meddling Mage and Champion the Parish, and I have to hope my opponent doesn't draw one creature. Because if they do and Champion of the Parish is too big, then I have to sacrifice my Mare Regery. Does anything change? No, I think I should still attack with this Benthic Biomancer. I have to just hope my opponent bricks, and then I can draw a Lord. I think I should try to put my opponent down to 9. I think that's more reasonable. Alright, and I pass. I should just hope my opponent has nothing, and I block with Tideshaper Mystic, block Champion the Parish with the Mare Regery, if they do an all-out attack. Oh, and look at that. They've got...
The one.
They got Thou's Lieutenant. Every single time I'm like really close to winning against humans. So like, nope, you have no chance, no outs anymore. They always draw Thou's Lieutenant. So now we're dead. If I recall correctly, I was like drawing cards. Oh, you can't draw cards in replay. If I recall correctly, though, I was drawing... What was it like? I think I drew like Spreading Sea... No, I loot into Spreading Seas, and I play Spreading Seas, and I was going to draw a Lord in retro when I looked at the game. So that was game 1. Let's go on to game 2. So viewing the sideboard, I did nothing. Absolutely nothing. I didn't bring... None of this stuff is good. Boil and Choke are useless. This hand is fine. Could use a few more powerful cards, but we at least have one Mare Regery in our hand. Play Ether Vial on turn 1. That's going to help us. But they have their own Ether Vial. Alright, Silvergill Adept. These are good things. I show Tideshaper Mystic because that's what we're going to play next turn. At least we're ahead here. And then hopefully, again, Mare Regery plus Harbinger of the Tides do something. Okay, so here's a really suspicious thing. They play an Unclaimed Territory, They play Unclaimed Territory and they just pass. Now, to me, that feels like they're highly representing Dismember. Because why wouldn't you just play a creature? You have to have a 2-mana creature. I mean, they could have a bunch of 3-mana cards, but I feel like that represents Dismember too much. So I don't want to play Mare Regery just for it to get blown up by Dismember. I want to get my Regery in play when they're tapped out and try to get some value out of it before Regery expires. So I just attack with my Silvergill Adept, and I believe I play like Tideshaper Mystic or something, and pass. I'm suspicious. I'm super hyper suspicious of this untapped mana shenanigans. Reflector Mage.
Of course.
Targeting Tideshaper Mystic, because I can't put that in play with Ether Vial. You see, they had 2 mana. Oh, but you can't put Phantasmal Image in play unless you have a creature in play. Okay, I get it. But I don't think this is a good use of your Reflector Mage. You're letting me draw a card. Like, I've got the Ether Vial. So, and yeah, I don't think this is the best thing to do. Now, what do I do here? I don't remember. Oh, maybe I put the Vial to 3 because I have 2 Regeries in my hand.
Yep.
I do put it to 3. All right.
And put screws to ya.
And we can do quite a few things this turn. So we can untap a land, play Yavimaya Coast, play Harbinger of the Tides, get 2 tap triggers. which can, like, Silvergill. Well, I guess Silvergill can attack through a Reflector Mage. Anyway, we blow up a Reflector Mage, and I decide not to bounce this to their hand because it would just give them value. I think it's better on the board than in their hand. Use Harbinger of the Tide's ability. No, it's a May. You don't need to do it. It's not mandatory. Attack with our Silvergill Adept. So I feel pretty... I got some pep in my step here. Attack for 4. Got a bunch of Lordies on the battlefield.
Can't bounce all of them.
Can't bounce all of them. They play Horizon Canopy. But they play Deputy of Detention. This is a new card. Well, not a super, super new card. But from, I think it's Ravnica Allegiance. When Deputy of Detention... Okay, it's a detention sphere attached to a creature. It's a detention sphere attached to a creature.
They're exiled.
Yeah. So, goodbye all my Marauders. Look at all these phantasmal images. Copying Deputy of Detention takes away my Harbinger of the Tides. But here's the cool thing. Now, if I ever target this with Merfolk Trickster or another Marauders, it's going to blow up, going to get Harbinger back, and then we can start attacking the... we can bounce maybe the other Deputy of Detention at the right moment, or another creature. Okay, but here's the good news. There's, like, no power on the battlefield. There's, like, a 2-2... there's a 2-3, a 1-3, a 1-3. There's nothing aggressive here that we... Well, yeah, we're going to play Tideshaper Mystic, and the combination of Silvergill Adept and Tideshaper Mystic is going to prevent the Deputy of Detentions from attacking. So that's going to be good. Another thing is I like that we got the Spreading Seas. We can hit the Horizon Canopy, and they're never going to draw a card off of that. Okay, we take 2 damage. I get Harbinger of the Tides. Not that I really want to use it. So we, Spreading Seas, the Horizon Canopy. I draw a land, unfortunately. And I played the Tideshaper Mystic. Just pass. So we can't... I mean, we can block the Reflector Mage, but I don't think it's the best use of our creatures at the moment. We have quite a bit of a life total. Opponent plays Thalia. Well, now they got sort of a clock on the board. I mean, they can attack with the Reflector Mage and the Thalia. That's 4 damage a turn. It's better than what we can do. I mean, we cannot attack into these Deputy Detentions. We just draw 1 Island Walk Lord. Like, that changes everything. Just changes everything. We can buy some time with the Harbinger of the Tides, though.
Ugh.
It's not pretty. And I want to keep a land in my hand for Benthic Biomancer if we ever draw him. We keep attacking with the Reflector Mage and the Thalia. How much more do I take? I take another 4. Okay. Oh, yeah. Take another 4. Opponent plays Meddling Mage. It's going to be Lord of Atlantis. No, it's going to be Merfolk Trickster. Our opponent is really scared of Merfolk Trickster. I mean, it can just blow this thing up, but still, I got the card is hard to name because we got 2 Ether Vials now. You could name Spreading Seas, but it's already on the battlefield. What else could you name? I don't know what's the best thing to name. Keep drawing lands. Land City. So I believe at this point, this is where I decide I gotta preserve my life total a bit. So let's play Harbinger of the Tides. Like, I can't take 4 damage a turn like this. So let's get rid of this Reflector Mage. Let's bounce the Thalia. And let's get rid of the Reflector Mage.
Ugh.
They play Thalia back. So it's just a bunch of dorks. And I get Silvergill, and I believe I cast the Silvergill because if I vial it in with Ether Vial and I draw Merfolk Trickster, then I can't play it. Whereas if I cast Silvergill for 5 and I draw Merfolk Trickster, I can get it in play with Ether Vial. Because I can't cast Silvergill at that because of the Meddling Mage. And it worked like a charm. It worked just like a charm.
That's brutal.
But still, I'm going to save it. Now, okay, there's something very important about Deputy of Detention. When Deputy of Detention enters the battlefield, exile target non-land permanent an opponent controls and all other non-land permanent that player controls with the same name as that permanent until Deputy of Detention leaves the battlefield. So, what's very important with how... Because it's all in one big block of words, the game is constantly checking for the moment Deputy of Detention leaves the battlefield. Which means, if we Merfolk Trickster the Deputy of... Let's say Deputy of Detention attacks us. We could Merfolk Trickster it. Or actually, hold on. Okay, a better example is, we can Merfolk Trickster this to tap it, and then if it leaves the battlefield, we still get the creatures back. Because there wasn't a separate ability that says, when Deputy of Detention leaves the battlefield, give the creatures back. Instead, it was, when this trigger took the Mare Regeries, there is that trigger is constantly waiting for Deputy of Detention to leave. So that trigger is just still waiting, is what I'm trying to say. So what we can do is, under the right circumstances, Trickster this Deputy of Detention, blow it up, get our Harbinger of the Tides back. Oh, that doesn't matter. Okay, I guess what I'm thinking is if I have 2 Tricksters, I can Trickster this, tap, force it to tap this thing, target this thing somehow, blow it up, get Harbinger back, bounce this thing, get our Regeries back. Unfortunately, there's always this Ether Vial on 3, but I'm just letting everybody know how the interaction works. Alright, so on our opponent's turn, they have their Ether Vial trigger. It will never go up. Our opponent does nothing.
2 cards in hand.
I get Harbinger of the Tides. Alright, alright. So now we could do something like Trickster this and force it with Harbinger. So, like, if my opponent ever activates the Ether Vial to put, like, Mantis Rider in play or something, that's when I can go for that plan of Trickster Harbinger. Here comes Thalia. I don't remember what I do here. I think maybe I just take another 2. But if I bounce it with Harbinger, I believe it too. We get another Trickster, so things are looking pretty good for us. Like, we can control the board in a lot of ways. Attack with Thalia again. Because I could Trickster this and then block it with, like, Tide Shaper Mystic. That's a line. Oh, is that what I do? Oh, I blow up the Deputy of Detention, get my Harbinger back, and then bounce Thalia, giving me a bigger board. And I believe, is it at this point that I have lethal if I draw Lord 3, 6, 9, 11. Yeah, I now have lethal on the board if I draw Lord of Atlantis or Master of the Pearl Trident. So they recast Thalia. Champion of the Parish gets a little bit bigger. Not too afraid of the champion because we've got a Harbinger in hand to bounce it if it gets too out of control. And they just play an Ether Vial. Last card in hand could be a Thalia for them. They just can't play a second Thalia. Okay. Okay, we got like a million Tricksters in hand. Now we're getting to the point where we're like, can we just tap everything down and then just attack with all our Grizzly Bears? We're really close to that. We're super close. Like, if I play Harbinger at end of turn and another Trickster, that's 4, 6, 7, 9, 11, 13 damage. So if they attack with Thalia, I think I just take it. Or I need them to attack with 2 creatures. If they attack with 2 creatures, I just take it and I just tap them down. Tap 1 down with Trickster, flash and Harbinger of the Tides, take my turn, Violin, Trickster, tap the last creature down and attack for the win. But we're at that moment where this is possible. No. And then my opponent just conceded. I was like, why did you just scoop up here? But their time is really low. It's at 6 minutes 12 seconds. And if this game goes for too long, then they could just lose. Oh, we're missing a bit of the ether vials on the side of the... Sorry about that. Like, the chat isn't returning. I can't bring the chat back, and it's screwing up with my overlay. Just be rest assured there are 2 ether vials. This one's on 3.
Chubby meatball.
Chubby meatball! Come! Chubby meatball!
She doesn't care.
Balcony door's open. What is she crying for? She has everything. She's got food. She has water. She has the balcony.
She has a Porsche, a Lamborghini.
Yeah. Everything.
Timeshare in Arizona.
So anyway, yeah, we won by just exhausting our opponent. How about that? We exhausted them. So that was game 2. Let's go to game 3. So this is game 3. The hand is actually pretty poor. We don't have beef. We're on the draw. Like, this hand will not beat any reasonable human's hand on the draw, if I'm not mistaken. And we have 4 lands here. We have to hope that we draw into some great things. Spreading Seas is a good card at the end, but not mandatory. I believe I mulligan this. Yeah, I mulligan. This hand is just as bad as... I mean, it's the same hand. It's just 1 less land. But at least we have a Tideshaper Mystic on turn... Oh no, we can't even play this thing on turn 1. Anyway, I keep this hand because I just want to be able to curve out. And now I just hope to draw good stuff. We have an Ether Vial on top of our deck. I can't remember if I keep that or not. I might have. Noble Hierarch on turn 1. Okay, great. I believe I think I do keep the Ether Vial, but you could also ship this to the bottom. So I can use up all my mana. I'm going to draw 2 cards in the next few turns, and hopefully it will turn into a good Ether Vial hand. But our hand is really weak. Oh, Thalia is a beating! Thalia, Heretic, Cathar. First strike, creatures and non-basic lands your opponents control enter the battlefield tapped. So it turns out this Ether Vial was a good thing to keep because of the Thalia. Now all our lands come into play tapped, and it slows us down a ton. So much. Our deck is just all non-basic lands. From their perspective, what the hell are we doing with all these
colored lands?
Yeah. Am I that afraid of choke and boil? See, this comes into play tapped. Everything's going to come into play tapped. So here comes the heat. Mantis Rider. And I'm thinking, well, this is basically over. I have no idea how to get back from this. Mantis Rider, they attack for 6. Because I can't even block anything right now. And there's no chance of blocking the Thalia for a little while. Here's the Tideshaper Mystic, comes into play tapped. Okay, here's Merfolk Trickster. Now this gives us a little bit of room to potentially come back because on the right turn we can target Thalia with the Trickster, and then that means our non-basic lands and our creatures enter the battlefield untapped. So I think I don't play Spreading Seas. I just put more creatures on the battlefield. Silvergill Adapt. We need to draw into more stuff. Everything's entering the battlefield no matter what because of the Thalia.
2 times in the red.
Yeah, but they only need a minute to beat us. So here's Champion of the Parish. Another Mantis Rider.
Yikes.
This is disgusting. This is absolutely disgusting. I'm gonna get hit for 9. Okay, so here I decide to make a chump block. I believe I chump block here. So, okay, I chump block Thalia, because if I take 9, go to 5, then I need to tap both Mantis Riders down. Okay, I have to tap one of the Mantis Riders down with Merfolk Trickster, and from there, I have no idea how I win the game, because I still have to chump block Thalia again in the future. But if there's any chance of me winning this game, it's going to involve Merfolk Trickstering the Thalia instead. There's no other way. So I want to give myself enough life. I want to take 6, go to 8, so that the Mantis Riders can still attack me in the air, and I'll deal with the Thalia later. Alright, so let's put a Lord of Atlantis in play.
I don't know why you wouldn't have done that before.
What?
Bring in Lord, when you do the block, and then they would kill the...
I won't, because Thalia has first strike.
Oh.
Great question. I'm sure someone out there had the same question. If you had the same question, thank my brother in the comment section below.
I ask all the dumb questions.
Yeah. You also ask questions that make no sense either. Why didn't you play Spreading Seas at end of turn?
I thought you could.
You watched me play this game for like 4 years. When was the last time I played Spreading Seas at end of turn? Okay, end of turn I'm going to play my Spreading Seas.
When I wasn't looking.
Yeah. Alright, so I get Master of the Pearl Trident. And now it actually looks like, can I win the game here? Because I can attack with the Silver Gill Adept and the Lord of Atlantis. Champion of the Parish can't kill any of them. Mantis Riders, if they choose to block, that's fine, because then we can exchange them all off, and then I actually have a chance of, maybe coming back here. So I attack with both. And if they don't block, I don't put the Master of the Pearl Trident in play, because I need to Merfolk Trickster the Thalia at upkeep, or before combat, and then I violin the Master of the Pearl Trident to block the Champion of the Parish, and I have to hope that my opponent does not draw a human to make Champion bigger. And I will have lethal on the... We're attacking for 5, they go to 14, and I have 14 power in hand, and I can play a Spreading Seas next turn with Island Walk. So here we go. Our opponent goes straight to combat, and we play the Merfolk Trickster. This will come into play tapped. Tap down Thalia. Our opponent attacks with everything, and we vial in Master of the Pearl Trident. Comes into play untap, block the Champion of the Parish. I do not think they thought we had any chance of blocking any of that stuff in combat.
Oh, stop it.
They're going to do something. Militia Burglar. So they actually made a big misplay. They should have played the Militia Burglar pre-combat so that Champion of the Parish would at least trade with the Master of the Pearl Trident.
Plays Bugle.
Plays the... Yeah, Bugler. Militia Bugler. The...
That's right. Charge!
So what are they going to find? And if they played Militia Bugler and found Thalia's Lieutenant, we would have just died that turn. Instead, they find a Thalia. Yep. That misplay cost them. It cost them the match. Because we got lethal! Spreading Seas! Oh, and we drew a Master of the Pearl Trident. So it actually looks like if we... Oh, no, we still need this as an attacker, though. This turn, in order to win. So yeah, if they played Militia Bugler, we would have lost. But instead, we win... We beat them. Did you ever think we had any chance of winning this match? No.
Pretty bleak.
It looked terrible. It looked absolutely terrible. Somehow I won this damn thing. I don't even know how I won this damn thing, but I won the damn thing. What an amazing comeback. Too bad it wasn't objectively winning for us. Our opponent had to. We had to hope our opponent misplayed. And by the way, I mean, it's still a victory. Our opponent, we cannot expect our opponent to play perfectly. They made... Well, we don't know what the last card in their hand is. Did they have anything that they could play at, instant speed? It can't be Is It Staticaster, because they would have killed this thing. I'm not sure, or maybe it is, and they just thought Militia Bugler would have been better. I'm not sure what was the best... I don't know what else they could have wanted the mana for, but in my mind, Militia Bugler followed by Thalia, make the champion a 4/4 creature would have been the best line. And then we would have been super on the back foot. We would have just died. But we didn't die. We won. We are the victor. So
2-1.
Is the overall score 2-1? Yeah, overall score is 2-1. Let's get into match 4. So we lost the die roll, but we've got a decent curve. We're starting on... We've got a 1-drop into 2-drop. into Rogerian Harbinger. Great. And oh, it's not an island, but Colonnade is a deck that plays a lot of islands. So I'm getting excited. Are you excited?
Yeah,
You should get excited. Someone's got to get excited.
I'll get excited when I see the island.
So we got the Tide Shaper Mystic, and we just keep curving out. We don't have an Ether Vial in play to play around counter magic, so we just have to jam creatures and hope that they don't have counter magic. Play Silvergill Adept. I think I revealed the other Silvergill Adept. We draw Botanical Sanctum. And there's the islands. Here we got Hollow Fountain into Island. Beautiful. I mean, we don't have the sideboard cards yet, but they'll be there. They're waiting. Attack there. Silvergill and Tide. Tide Shaper Mystic. And I'm just going to play another Silvergill Adept showing... can't remember. I think I showed Silvergill Adept. Our opponent cycles Hieroglyphic Illumination, which is becoming a staple in these decks. Oh, Jace the Mind Sculptor. Draw 3 cards, put 2 back on top. Usually that means Terminus, like I said before, so we're going to kill the Jace, deal 2 damage to our opponent. I believe this is attacking Jace, this is attacking our opponent. Thought we can play the best round Terminus. Unfortunately, this is still a very valuable... This is still a lot of value for our opponent because they drew a card off Jace to exchange with it, so this is still going to be like a 3-for-1 in this situation, unfortunately, when they... if they end up playing Terminus. If they don't, then it'll be fine. And I play my Ether Vial to prepare. Oh, they do have the Terminus. Because when they brainstorm, they draw a card, so even though they lose the Jace, it's worth it for them. So we lose 3 cards. We didn't really lose 3 cards. 2 of them replaced themselves. The Silvergill Adepts. Oh, look at all those islands. So many islands. Another Jace the Mind Sculptor.
Ooh.
Yeah, boo! Aren't you supposed to be banned?
He was, and he came back.
I thought you were banned. I was.
Yeah.
Well, Spreading Seas, I'll play it on the Colonnade. This prevents Supreme Verdict, and also prevents the Colonnade from ever blocking. That actually is important. We are getting to the point in the game where they can start activating the Colonnade to block, and if something bad happens, they can just tap the Colonnade to play Path to Exile or Mana Leak or something like that. Teferi! Oh, the Teferi Jace combo. Teferi's becoming the new Gideon. Like, Gideon was the Planeswalker that pissed everyone off in Standard, and now Teferi's being the Planeswalker to piss everyone off in, like, Modern. And there goes Oust. Put target creature into its owner's library, second from the top. Its controller gains 3 life. Guess what? The 3 life doesn't even matter. Well, this position's impossible. I think I play it out, but... like, this is too many Planeswalkers. These are the most powerful Planeswalkers in the multiverse that are still alive. Urz is dead. And Nuka-Bolas is dead. All the big titans are gone. Who will replace them as the big baddie?
Big Bad Daddy.
When is Emrakul gonna find her spark and become a Planeswalker? Emrakul the Planeswalker. Wouldn't that be fucking nuts?
That'd be pretty funny.
She would be hands down the most powerful Planeswalker ever. Okay, so here's the deal. I'm not gonna beat these 2 creatures. These 2 Planeswalkers. That's impossible. So what I'm going for is I can kill my opponent. I have so many creatures and lords in hand. I can kill my opponent if my opponent does not have Cryptic Command. So let's just hope they don't have Cryptic Command. And I'm just going to try to go in for the kill. But instead, they opt into a Terminus. That blows. I guess they set that up with the Jace. And, yeah, I lose
disgusting.
Everything. It's all gone. What did it cost? Everything. So that's game... Oh, you can't even see the Teferi. What's going on here? This is awful. Where's the game chat? I'm very sorry about the replay. You can't see the Teferi. Teferi's off screen. But anyway, this was game 1. We lost. Let's go. But we have the tools. It's called choke and boil in game 2. So if we look at the sideboard, there's no choke or boil in that sideboard anymore. And I decided to give less respect to the spreading seas. I cited out all the spreading seas. I cited out all the Tideshaper Mystics and kept the Harbingers in because we're not playing with Mutavault, and we need like some number of threats still in the deck. But we've got choke and boil in here, so I got this hand. The hand is good, actually. The hand is great. It's a bunch of Ether Vials. I'm going to keep the other Ether Vial in my hand so it doesn't get swept up by Detention Sphere. I'm going to play Silvergill Adept, throw Benthic Biomancer, going to play a Benthic Biomancer. Oh, here come the islands. You might have played one Colonnade, but you know what? You're playing the islands. Beautiful. So we get the Benthic Biomancer in play. Silvergill, this is all still very good. And we can't hold up Deprive with our Copperline Gorge, so I believe I just activate Benthic Biomancer right here. And in response, my opponent plays Condemn, which is put target attacking creature on the bottom of its owner's library. Its controller gains life equal to its toughness. So in theory, a better line was just to activate Benthic Biomancer before attacking, because that plays around Condemn. I forget about these Condemns and these weird 1-mana removal spells. That's okay. We'll play Silvergill Adept at end of turn. Draw a card. Botanical Sanctum. What do I do here? I'm guessing... Well, I'm casting something for 3. I'm casting Mirror... Oh yeah, I cast Mirror Regery because our opponent cannot play Supreme Verdict right now. So I'm thinking right now is the time to get in the damage as quickly as possible.
Ugh.
That's okay. Whatever. Get the lands out of our deck. But again, I'm still in the mode of our opponent missed their 3rd land drop. Like, we're playing all our land drops. Our opponent missed their 3rd land drop, and they don't have a 2nd white source. Let's try to take advantage of this. Let's get in as many creatures as possible. You know, if they play Snapcaster Mage, we can deprive it. Vendilion Click. Same situation. Let's get rid of this damn thing. Play our land, play our Benthic Biomancer, and again, we can loot this thing at end of turn. And we're just trying to fade a Terminus. Okay, activate Benthic Biomancer. Go on, find us the choke. Find us the boil. Okay, well, Merfolk Trickster is going to do it. We can activate Vial, put Merfolk Trickster in play. This is a million creatures, and they tap out. That's it. They gave up. They just gave up. So that was game 2. Let's get on to game 3. Oh, there we go. There we are. Snap keep. We've got boil. We're gonna boil them out. Okay, we got our Benthic Biomancer. The plan is to just attack our opponent. Oh! We're on business. So the point is to attack up to a point where we get them to like want to tap out to play their Jace the Mind Sculptor or something, and then we'll play choke. So I'm just trying to play creatures now. Influence our opponents to tap out to play Jace the Mind Sculptor, because like if they tap out and even if they put Terminus on top, then they need to have a Plains or a Colonnade in order to untap in order to make that thing worthwhile. You know, in this situation, I should probably play Lord of Atlantis. I mean, I guess my opponent can still play something like Supreme Verdict, but it's not that big of a deal. Okay, people. This is exciting. Why? Because we can float a mana from the Spire Bluff Canal, get a new land that comes into play untapped, and we can cast Boil. That's right. So they think they're going to get rid of our 1 red mana source, but no. They are actually ramping us into Boil. They're ramping us. What are they going to get, an island or a plains? Oh, they got a plains. That's too bad. That's okay. Who cares? we can still play Boil. Boom! All the islands are gone. Goodbye, islands.
He's way behind now.
Oh, super way behind. Now we only need one more land of any kind to get Choke online.
Huh.
I can't remember. What do I do here? We play. I should play Choke just because. Damn it! Let's just play the cards. Unfortunately, our opponent is now getting into the. They're now playing around our holdings. I wonder what they think the green man is for. Is this guy playing Choke and Boil in their deck? There's another island. Oh, another Choke. Oh, we have to play this. Come on. Play the Choke. Oh, come on. You have nothing to lose. I have nothing to lose. I should just run at least one Choke out there. Because I know I'm trying to play with some sort of strategy of getting my opponent to tap out. Oh, here we go. Counter target spell. I guess... I don't know what the right line is, but whatever. We're going to play a Choke right now. Good luck. You're going to need it. The Choke is online. Islands don't untap during their controller's untap steps. Islands don't untap during their controller's untap steps. And our opponent has more islands than a mono blue Merfolk deck. Hilarious. No, we have no fear of Supreme Verdict next turn. We have no fear of Jace the Mind Sculptor. We have no fear of Teferi. All those cards are solved by Choke and Boil. How many lands did we blow up? We basically dealt with 4 lands. And here we go. Attack. There's nothing they can... Well, okay, if they need 2 Path to Exiles or like Condemn or something like that, that's fine. We're going to activate our Benthic Biomancer. And I'm doing this in response so that we can... If we find a Deprive, I'll just Deprive this. Nope, that's over. The game is over. We are victorious. Victorious, people.
Good showing for both cards.
Oh yeah, Boil. They screwed themselves with this Field of Ruin. They ramped us into the Boil. And then we shut the door on them with Choke. Deck worked perfectly. These sideboard cards are as powerful as advertised. Staples in many eras of Magic.
Legacy.
Yeah, still played in Legacy. Alright, so with that, round 4, let's get into round 5. Was that worth it?
Yeah, that was actually pretty sweet. I'm sure he was very angry. Twice, in fact. Probably didn't see any of that shit coming.
Yeah, we're on the draw. Our hand is slow, but it's not worth, like, mulliganing. And our opponent accidentally clicks through their turn. So they just gave us the play. Hallelujah. Unless... Oh, they mulliganed, actually. They mulliganed to 6. I don't know, maybe they kept a no-lander. But anyway, we are very happy that we get to be on the play. And our opponent plays Steam Vents entering the battlefield tapped. This could mean Storm. This could also mean Izzet Phoenix. So Master of the Pearl Trident. Let's just get our Lords in play. We don't have like a turn 4 o'clock thing in the ice. Well, I'm glad we're on the play, but it looks less likely that we will be able to keep our creatures on the board, because when they untap with 3 mana, there's a lot of ways for this thing in the ice to flip. So what I'm deciding to do is, if I play Maraudry, the Master of the Pearl Trident doesn't have Island Walk, and it'll just get blocked by Thing in the Ice. So I think a much better line is just play Lord of Atlantis or Master of the Pearl Trident and Tideshaper Mystic. That way, if I play an Island Walk Lord, we at least get 3 damage in. Plus, we still can get in a lot of damage the next turn when we play, if all the creatures are still on the board. But I'm really playing around Thing in the Ice flipping. So if everything's gonna bounce back to my hand, let's at least get some Island Walk. Okay, Lightning Bolt cast. Faithless Looting. Thing in the Ice just keeps getting lower and lower. Thought Scour. Is there gonna be a gut shot? There is an Arclight Phoenix in the graveyard. So that will come back. They'll attack for 3. So I have a similar plan, just like last turn. Let's play Lord of Atlantis. Let's attack for 6. Everything's gonna get bounced by Thing in the Ice, so why not? And probably I should play Spreading Seas. Okay, hold on. Why did I not play Spreading Seas? It cost me because it will cost me 1 life, and that 1 life might be the death of me. If they bounce everything, they attack me for 10. Oh, I need the life later so I can recast my lords. I can play a Mare Regery and a lord and pay 1 life, but I can't pay more than 2 life because Arclight Phoenix is going to kill me. Because I'll get hit for 10, I go down to 5. Or if I play Spreading Seas, I get hit for 10, I go down to 4, which means if I pay 1 more life, then I die to the Arclight. I'll go down to 3 and I die to the Arclight Phoenix. So I can't pay any life here. I need them to bounce all the cards back to my hand. They attack me for 10, I go down to 5. Then I play like Mare Regery into Lord of Atlantis, go down to like 3. Or no, I could play Mare Regery into Tideshaper Mystic, play that for free into Lord of Atlantis, pay a life, go down to 4. Then I can use Tideshaper Mystic to block the thing in the ice, and then hopefully the following turn, I don't know, draw another. It gives me some chance of winning the game. But if I play Spreading Seas, I don't think I have any chance of winning the game. They play Pyromancer Ascension, they bolt. Are they bolting me? Yes, that makes sense. I actually forgot about. Oh, I forgot about this again. Like I keep forgetting that the thing in the ice bounces their Phoenix back to hand.
It's not a horror.
So that actually means we have more time, because they didn't discard it. All right, so let's get back to our plan. So I now just need to keep my life total above 3, so don't get lightning bolted, or they hard cast the Arclight Phoenix and attack me for 3. So I can put a decent chunk of creatures on the battlefield. We start with Mare Regery. We freely cast a Tideshaper Mystic. Or I guess we play Lord of Atlantis, freely cast a Tideshaper Mystic. And then this will block the Awoken Horror. And then next turn...
Awoken Hoarder.
Okay, so here's a good thing. Our opponent just fetched, going down to 10. That's great for us. Our opponent plays Faithless Looting. Thought Scour, they already have a Thought Scour, so Pyromancer Ascension online now. They have 2 Arclight Phoenixes in the graveyard. I think they were hoping to find 1 more cantrip. They don't find it. And the fact that they went down to 10 now actually means we have lethal. Because we can block, we can play our lords, and have 10 power in play. I really have no idea how I win this game. This is like a really magical win. I think it just helped us. I don't know, how do I put it? Our opponent just played in such a way that we can like steal victory. This is I guess this is lucky. I'm not sure. Maybe our opponent just thought, the odds of getting both these Phoenixes in play were too high. But really, I think if they keep their life total at 11, just hard cast Phoenix, attack me with Awoken Horror and the Phoenix, I'm almost dead. Like, they don't win this turn anyway. I guess they were just trying to win that very turn. Put 2 Phoenixes in the graveyard. Activate their Pyromancer Ascension. I guess they had a lot of things to do. It looked good at the time. They were drawing a bunch of cards between Thought Scour and their, what's it called, Faithless Looting that they flash back. But anyway, it didn't work out for them. It worked out for us. We're ahead. We're up a game against Izzet Phoenix. And boy, you see all these islands? They don't have as many islands as I think we would like. Look at this mountain and these Spire Bluff canals. But we're still bringing in the chokes and the boils. Unfortunately, well, we got the boil in our hand. But unfortunately, we do not have the mana for it. So I keep this hand. It's got a bunch of land and a Benthic Biomancer. So it's basically a 3 land hand, because we're going to ditch one of these lands for the Benthic Biomancer. I drew a Benthic Biomancer. I believe I put it on the bottom of my library. Yeah. And we end up drawing a Silvergill Adept. A great upgrade. Our opponent plays Thing in the Ice on turn 2. Well, this will be great, except my opponent is going to go ham next turn. It'd be really great to get this out right now, then we're not as afraid of the Thing in the Ice, because they can't untap with their mana. So I believe I play... Actually, I don't know what I play. I think I play Silvergill Adept.
Choke should be Phyrexian.
Because there's no guarantee that my opponent will flip the Thing in the Ice next turn. Sulfur Falls. Oh, that's not good. That also undermines the choke plan, right? Yeah, it's not an island. Manamorphose. Okay, so this Thing in the Ice, especially with all this mana, is almost guaranteed to flip.
Flip.
Serum Visions.
Sleight of hand.
Flip or your money back. They got everything. They thought scoured a Phoenix in their graveyard. So, we're dead. We're stone dead. Because even if I play Choke now, they just attack for 10. What is my only chance? It depends on drawing a Harbinger of the Tides. I do not draw Harbinger of the Tides, so we play this. Ooh, I don't play Benthic Biomancer. Because I could at least... Or, oh, I guess I'm just chump blocking with Silvergill Adept anyway. So everything depends on my Silvergill Adept living. It doesn't, and then I die. So our opponent just had a nut draw that we could not interact with. We had the choke, but we really needed to be on the play. If we were on the play, we would win. I'm pretty sure we would win, because we would just slam choke on turn 3. These lands don't untap. They only have a Sulfur Falls to work with. They would just play like 1 Serum Visions. Anyway, they would be really, really slow. Really slow game. So let's get into round... Okay, last match, game 3. So we're on the play, and we got Boyle. Oh yeah, Boyle on the way. We're also playing for 4-1, by the way. We're 3-1 so far.
Pretty good.
All right, so we don't have anything to do on turn 1, but we have a lot of interaction. We got Silvergill Adept, we've got for card draw, and we also now have Harbinger of the Tides. How the hell can we lose when we have Harbinger of the Tides against Is It Phoenix? Opponent plays Thought Scour. It's a really bad Thought Scour too. Oh yeah, and they played an island. Beautiful. It's a sight. It's a sight to behold. And we got Benthic Biomancer. So they play Thing in the Ice. Alright, so this is where I fuck up. I fuck up big time. I'm gonna play Master of the Pearl Trident. This is a horrible blunder. I've got Merfolk Trickster in hand. I've got Harbinger of the Tides. What I should do is I should just play Benthic Biomancer and pass. I want to get in 3 damage here, but it's not worth it at all. I should tap down. I should just keep my Merfolk Trickster in hand up until the point where Thing in the Ice wants to bounce my board. And then when the Thing in the Ice has the last counter on it, I should play Merfolk Trickster to tap it down. Like, I have the interaction. I have so much interaction in my hand. I think this is too greedy. You gotta be patient in this matchup. If you can afford patience, you should be patient. And I can afford patience. I've got the mana. Mana's coming up in the future. I can play Benthic Biomancer. Next turn, I can play Master of the Pearl Trident and hold up Merfolk Trickster at the same time. Anyway, we're going to get greedy for 3 damage here. And spoiler alert, this is not going to work out for me at all. Also, they got this stupid Sulfur Falls undermining our Boyle. What do you want? Want to say hi to the camera again? Jummy ball. Oh, you don't want to?
Just have her on your lap like Blofeld.
Yes, yes. Kitty. We're going to dominate the world with Merfolk. Dominate with Merfolk. Okay, so anyway, our opponent plays Manamorphose. Oops. Trying to pass priority. This is pointless. And Manamorphose was like the Nightmare card to see. They won't flip the Thing in the Ice if they don't have Manamorphose. And they have 2 Manamorphoses, so we're like, this is almost certainly going to be bad. So they play Faithless Looting, they bounce everything to our hand. They put 2 Arclight Phoenixes in the graveyard. That's just terrible. So even if we had Merfolk Trickster to tap down the Awoken Horror, we still might have been in a little bit of bad shape because of the Phoenixes in the sky. But maybe we can still race, because if we can tap we wouldn't take 7 damage, so we'd only take 6, go down to 13. But because from this point, we're dead. We're just straight up dead. I could play Boyle just for the hell of it, but Well, we got another Boil. What could have been was we tap down this thing, we take 6, then we untap and we play Harbinger of the Tides and Master of the Pearl Trident. Attack for like, what is it? I would attack for 8 from 19 damage because we wouldn't have gotten any damage in. 8, they go to 11, and we have lethal next turn.
So you screwed it all up.
I screwed it all up. Damn it. I screwed up. You be patient. If you have the cards, be patient. I don't know why I didn't play with patience. This was dumb. I was playing like I did in the second game. But in the second game, I had no choice. There was no reason to not be patient. I had no reason. I had to just play the cards and hope for the best. And we have Boil. Well, I wouldn't play Boil. I would have to play Harbinger, bounce this thing. So what are my outs now? I need to... because I have to deal with the thing in the ices. I guess that's Harbinger, bounce a Phoenix? I don't even do that. Oh no, I have a Trickster in my hand. So yeah, I can Trickster a Phoenix. Put it in the graveyard. Take 2. Opponent plays Pyromancer Ascension. That can't be good. Well, we get another turn. Alright. Silvergill. So I would love to play Boil just for the hell of it, but we have a chance to stay in this game. We can play Silvergill Adept, draw into like another Trickster or Harbinger to bounce the... No, it has to be Trickster actually. If we bounce the Phoenix with Harbinger, then they can just recast Phoenix and we're dead. But that's it. No, too bad. Could have been 4-1. I think. Well, I mean, we don't know what else is in our opponent's hand. Their whole game plan could completely change if we had a huge board on the table. I mean, they might have had Anger of the Gods for all I know. But, like, for sure, we would have had a better chance if I didn't play stupid greedy with this. I had to play patient. You be patient against Thing in the Ice. If you have Merfolk Trickster, you be patient. If you have the mana. If you don't have the mana, if you know you're not going to curve out, maybe you have to be a little bit greedy. But I still like to play patiently. I think that's the way I almost always beat this deck because of cards like Merfolk Trickster and Harbinger of the Tides. So we had everything, and we even had Boils. That's too bad. We could have blown up at least 2 islands. It would have been glorious. But that's Troll Merfolk. We did get to see Boil get played. We did get to see Choke get played. It saw play. It did great. Did as advertised. Definitely helped us win that match against Blue White Control. Let me know what you think about Boil Choke Folk in the comments section below. So we're going to thank all my patrons supporting me on Patreon. We're also going to thank themanabase.com for being our sponsor. This has been Nikachu with his brother playing Boil Choke Folk in Modern.